kids, it's Miss Malinda here. I am back on the couch and I am back here ready to read you an account from my absolute favorite book in the entire world. You know what? Won't be much longer before we'll get to see each other in person. But while we're waiting for that, I've got one more great account to read to you. One of my favorites, and it's found in the book of Genesis. If you have your Bible, it's the first book in the Bible. Genesis chapter 6 is where we're going to start. So grab your Bible, grab your blanket, grab your favorite stuffed animal, and curl up with me on the couch as we read about Noah. We're going to start in chapter 6. This is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. God saw how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people on earth had corrupted their ways. So God said to Noah, I'm going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy them and the earth. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood. Make rooms in it and coat it with pitch inside and out. This is how you are to build it. The ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Make a roof for it, leaving below the roof an opening 1 cubit high for all around. Put a door on the side of the ark and make lower, middle, and upper decks. I am going to bring flood waters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens, every creature that has the breath of life in them. Everything on earth will perish, but I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, you and your sons, and your wife, and your sons' wives with you. You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of bird, every kind of animal, and every kind of creature that moves along the ground will come to you to be kept alive. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it as food for you and for them. Noah did everything just as God had commanded. Then the Lord said to Noah, Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate, and also 7 pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. In the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, on that day, all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of heaven were opened, and the rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On that very day, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, together with his wife and the wives of the 3 sons, entered the ark. They had with them every wild animal according to its kind, all the livestock according to their kinds, every creature that moves along the ground according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, everything with wings. Pairs of all creatures that have the breath of life in them came to Noah and entered the ark. The animals going in were male and female of every living thing, as God had commanded. Then the Lord shut them in. For 40 days the flood kept coming on the earth, and the waters increased. They lifted the ark high up above the earth. The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered with water. The waters rose and covered the mountains to a depth of more than 15 cubits. Every living thing that moved on land perished. Birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures that swarm over the earth, and all mankind. Everything on dry land that had the breath of life in its nostrils died. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out. People and animals and the creatures that move along the ground and the birds were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. The flood waters flooded the earth for 150 days. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark. And he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of the heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The water receded steadily, And at the end of 150 days, the water had gone down. And on the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month. And on the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible again. After 40 days, Noah opened a window he had made in the ark and sent out a raven, and it kept flying back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. Then he sent a dove to see if the water had receded from the surface of the ground. But the dove could not find a place to perch because there was still water everywhere, so it returned to Noah. He reached out his hand and took the dove back inside the ark. He waited 7 more days and then let the dove out of the ark again. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Jonah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again, but this time the dove did not return. By the first day of the 1st month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the 2nd month, the earth was completely dry. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so that they can multiply and fill the earth and be fruitful and increase the number on it." So Noah came out, together with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives, all the animals and all the creatures that moved along the ground, everything that moves on land came out of the ark, one kind after another. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. Let's jump to chapter 9 now. Then God said to Noah and his sons, "I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals. All those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the whole earth." And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant I am making between you and me and every living creature, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of this covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between you and me and the animals. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it, and I will remember the everlasting covenant between God and all the living creatures of every kind on the earth." So God said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant I have established between me and all the life on earth." A rainbow. Do you love seeing rainbows after a storm? Did you know that it was a promise-keeping sign? God sends the rainbow to remind us, and it says in my Bible, to remind him of that promise he makes never to flood the earth again. Here's my challenge for you. I would like you to find the biggest piece of paper you can find, and I want you to draw the best rainbow you have ever drawn in your life. I don't care if you use markers or crayons or paint if Mom and Dad will let you, but I want you to draw a rainbow, and I want you to put it somewhere in your house to remind you of God's promise, because God keeps his promises. God keeps every one of his promises, and a rainbow reminds us of that. Also, at the end of this little video, Mr. Mike's going to put another music video on. It's a song I found about Noah and being a friend to God, and I hope you enjoy it. So until next time I see you either on the couch or in the church, I'll be praying for you, and I miss you. Thanks. Bye.
There was a time, back in time, when nobody was doing right. They were lost, telling lies. Oh, it was an awful sight. You could say no one knew God, no one loved God, no one was God's friend. You could say no one knew God, no one loved God, no one was God. stand and follow a different plan. You could say no one knew God, no one loved God, no one was God's friend. You could say no one knew God, no one loved God, no one was God's friend. Ya-da-da. God said, build me an ark and fill it with things that jump and crawl and fly, and then it's gonna rain for 40 days, it's gonna rain for 40 nights. The earth is gonna have a brand new start, just you wait and see. It's gonna start again with you, because of your love for me. All because no one knew God, no